20 bucks. 20 bucks. They on the line for 20 bucks. They keep on playing, but nobody's paying. Oh, and some littles and some dimes. Boom, ba boom, boom. Hi guys, it's Jabor and Maggie, Mrs. Calabash. Come into my kitchen. Come on. Let's go in where it's nice and warm and cozy. It's getting a bit chilly outside. So, I'm not ready for really heavy food yet, but I'm looking for something a bit warm and comfort food. So we're going to make a lemon potato chowder today, accompanied with Leek and Brie tartlets. So let's go over to the stove, and I've got some onions cooking slowly, so come with me. So you can see I've got everything here in my pan. I'm going to grunt and groan when I have to lift this up because it's heavy. But I've melted some butter and I got some sweet onion in there. I've cooked them first because I like to cook the onion very, very slowly. And for this, we don't want the onion brown. We want to keep it a nice pale colour. I'm going to turn the heat up a little bit. And I've got the Sazon seasoning here, which is I don't say Cajun, it's not really a Cajun seasoning. It's a southern seasoning, and it's coriander, cumin, turmeric, garlic powder, sea salt, oregano, and a ground black pepper. And I'll put the recipe up for you because I make my own. It's what we have on the shelves. So I'm just going to add that. Let's make sure we've got everything in there. I want to cook that just for a minute or two, otherwise it tastes raw. And garlic. Let's add some garlic. Just chopped up garlic, because we are going to emulsify this. Carrots. Now just remember, when you're making a soup, chop up as finely as you can, because then you've got more cut surfaces and the more flavour goes into the soup. Now if you're doing a casserole, it's just the opposite. You want to keep the flavour in the pieces. Now we're going to cook that for a minute or two. And the recipe says chopped potatoes. Because of time restraint, I have just cooked my potatoes first today, and so because I want to make sure they are cooked. That's softening nicely. A couple of bay leaves. Don't buy too many bay leaves at a time because the flavour goes. When we lived in France, I had my garden in France, I couldn't believe it. Because in England you have to bring the bay leaves in, the little bay trees in during the winter because of the frost. And I got there and it's this enormous fence is bay. I used to have to get the shears down to cut it down. It was marvellous. And that was northern France. Lemon rind, the zest of a lemon. And this adds a nice fresh flavour. Now I'm using chicken stock today, but if you're vegetarian, use vegetable stock. I do have a little more here, just in case, because it says 6 potatoes, 6 small potatoes. Well, my potatoes were miniature for potatoes, not very big at all, so I use more potatoes, so it might be a little bit thicker. So we're going to put the potatoes in there. And all this has to come to the boil. Now, I didn't peel the potatoes because they're new, and all the goodness is in the skin of the potatoes. So I like to leave the the skin on wherever possible. I'm going to taste this because it will need a little salt and pepper, I think. I think just a little pepper. It's not too bad for the salt, but if you're a perfectionist, you would use white pepper so that it doesn't colour the chowder. Let's just bring that up to the boil, and we're going to cook that until well, normally you cook it until the potatoes are cooked, but my potatoes are cooked, but until the carrots and everything's nice and soft. It'll take about 20 minutes, no longer than that. And I'm going to move that over to there. Let's turn that one on. Turn this off. Oh, it's still clicking. There we are. And move this one over here. I'm going to keep an eye on that before I put the lid on. Now, in here I've got leeks. Leeks are, again, I cook them very, very slowly because I don't want them to brown. And leeks, I've just used the white parts for this because I wanted to keep it looking white and no green in it. But don't throw the green part away. I keep it and then I use it in a casserole or a soup where I've got lots of vegetables and it doesn't matter. But leeks have got a more mellow flavour than onions. And I'll show you how to cut a leek when we finish this. And this is, so I've got the leeks. I'm going to just put a little garlic into that and some nutmeg. Nutmeg adds a nice flavour to it. Just a little bit of spice to it without being a hot spice. And I need, which I've left in the fridge, which I'll have to get, half a cup of, let's have a look, half a cup of cream. Now I'm going to use a 35% cream because it's going to be cooked and I don't want it to separate. So just wait a minute, I've got it in the fridge. There we are. And so I'm going to add the cream to this. The cream is the liaison in this, which is the thickener. So just stir it round, just until it thickens. If you used a lighter cream, there is a tendency that it would separate. Now, there's a little piece of leek there, which has got over brown. I'm going to take that out. I don't want that in there. There we are. Let's put the lid on here, on my other pan. Bring it up to the boil and just let that simmer until everything is cooked. I can bring it forward when I take this off. Now you can see how everything is thickened. And that is the filling of the tartlet. I've got the oven on. I've put my oven on at 360 because my oven is just a little bit slow. I would say 350 normally. So let's take this over to the butcher block. Just leave that there for a minute. I've got to go back and just pull my other pan over. These get hot and heavy. Come on, there we are. we'll come back and have a look at that in a minute because I want it to simmer. So these are Brie and Leek tartlets. So I just cooked these. I've been lazy today. I'm using the frozen tartlets and I just put some Brie in there. Take the rind off the Brie. I think I should get 12 out of this. So let's just move that, and we just put a little Brie in there. I love Brie. I got a real education on buying Brie and Camembert when I first went to live in the Mayenne, and I watched the French ladies buy the cheese, and first of all they smell it to make sure that it's right, and then they take it out of the case, and in the center they just press like that, and it should feel nice and soft. Otherwise it's not ripe. Now I need to put some of this in here. Can you hear the hounds? I don't know what set them off today. That poor Sanchi, he was going berserk with the equinox. He gets very affected, and he's a bit of a handful anyway. That one's not sitting in the centre. I need to push that Brie in the centre. And these they'll take about 6 to 8 minutes to cook, because you're just going to heat the pastry and the cheese through. We want the cheese to melt a little bit, but this tastes, it's rather nice actually. It's not hot and spicy. It's a beautiful Old English nutmeg flavour. I was going to get my nutmeg grater out to show you, but I forgot. So let's just put that on there, a little bit more on that one, sit it in the oven and let that cook. It won't take long. There we are. You see that's cooking. Turn it down a little bit. Now, as I mentioned about leeks, in the old days, in my day, when I was growing up, I hated leeks because they were grown in sand or very, very fine soil. And as they grow, they're blanched to keep it white. And all this used to be full of soil. So what you do, don't waste that. And this, just go through the centre like this. Now, if they're grown the old-fashioned way, all this will have soil in it. So you have to wash it under the tap. But I've got some water here, like that. So I'm just separating it out, and they're all nicely washed. Now, what I like to do with the leek is we're going to just put a little paper on there, kitchen paper, like that. There we are. Now, there we are. Just go through the centre like this. This is the same with celery. Through the centre like that, and slice it. And then to chop it, just hold, you know, get your knife. Keep the point of the knife down, like that, and you can chop your leek nice and finely. And that is all there is. I know a lot of people are put off using leeks because of this business of cleanliness. And I showed you how to do it because the first thing Derek said to me was, how do I prepare a leek? And so that's all there is to preparing leeks. So don't be put off, please. Let me have a look, see how these are doing. Ooh, almost ready. We'll just put them up a bit. There we are. I want to taste this. Because it is important to have this of the right flavour. Again, I think it needs just a little pepper and no salt. That's unusual. There we are, just a little pepper. Let's have a look. So you see, normally this would cook a little bit longer with the potatoes, but because the potatoes are cooked, it's not going to take very long at all. Yes, we might have to add a little salt in the end, but now we're going to emulsify this, but first we need to take out the bay leaves. As I said before, don't buy too many bay leaves at a time because they do go stale. Let's see if I can find them. They give a beautiful flavour and smell. There's one. It's like fishing. Yes, let's have a look. No, I think, no, that was a piece of potato. Oh well, if we don't find, there we are. There's a little bit. Get rid of that. It was attached to a piece of potato. And we will emulsify this. It needs still to have a little bit of texture to it. So let's see if we can emulsify it without going too far. And then I've got some lemon juice and some cream. I love these. This was the best thing. I hate using a blender now because of all the washing up. Not quite, just a little bit more. A nice little piece of texture there. We can always emulsify it a little bit more. We've got the cream again, so I'm going to turn this up because we're going to cool it down with the cream. And don't forget, the cream is a thickener. It is a liaison. Eggs, cream, flour, it's all what we call a liaison, a thickener. So let's just bring this up to heat, and then we're going to add the lemon juice, and we will recheck the seasoning. I can't quite see. Almost there. Not quite. I did just cook the pastry cases blind for a little while because I wanted them, they're not in the oven very long, and I wanted everything to be cooked. Now, I've used, as I said, I was being lazy. I used the frozen pastry cases, but sometimes for this, I have phyllo pastry. I use about 3 sheets, so In between each sheet, brush it with butter or oil, and then I just cut it into squares and put the squares into the tartlet tins. And that's another way of doing it. You don't have to buy the frozen. A little lemon juice. I'm going to add the lemon juice carefully and taste between each addition, because we don't want to overpower the potatoes. No, it needs some more. It's just got that faint hint of lemon. Beautiful. It doesn't need any more seasoning. Now this is hot, so let's take it over to the table and watch me groan. Oh. Ah! Quickly, I moved my pan stand. Whew! I love my cast iron, but I think I'm getting old. I'm finding it harder to lift. We can leave those in for a few minutes more. And a little parsley for decoration. I've got we'll put it into here. Just wipe that out. I can't lift that up at the moment. It's got too much in it. So I like to bring this to the table in, look, I found it. I knew there was a bit more in there. Ow, I can't get it out, it's too hot. I'll just have to make sure that we don't pour it in. And if we do, I'll whisk it out. I like to bring this to the table in a pot like this and have fresh bread or tartlets all the way round and let people help themselves. It's a dig in and delve, what I call a dig in and delve dish. So let's just lift this in now. Ooh. Whoa, there we go. We'll put this over here. I want to have a pan stand so I don't mark the top, and a little parsley on the top just for some garnish. You could use parsley or cilantro, whatever, on the top, and we're going to move that further forward. Put that there. Wipe my table down, and I've already used my dishcloth, so I'll just get this. It's hard to do this without making a mess. Well, that's my excuse anyway. I like to put a soup ladle in like that, and then people can help themselves. You can put a larger one in if you've got one. Now let's have a look in the oven. Turn the oven off. And you can see these are bubbling nicely now, so we know that they're cooked. Again, that's hot. Let's just move this so you can see what I'm doing. And where's my plate? I'm just lining a plate with some lettuce, so add a little bit of colour. And I need These are my very, very old knives. It's the original when I left college, was my knives, my dining knives. And I've just got a few of them left, and I love them for cooking because they spread, they slice. But look, the bone handles, mind you, that was 1962 when I left college, so they've done well. But I was in Sheffield, and that is the centre of the steel industry and the cutlery industry in England. And we used to be able to go to the mills and say, I want a baking tin of such and such a description, and they'd make one. Yeah, they'd make one just for you. So we'll just put those on there like that. There we are. This can go over there. And it needs a little bit of colour. And a friend dropped me down yesterday some beautiful red peppers. So guess what I'll be doing this weekend? So I thought, wow, I can use them. Add a little bit of colour and some nice tomatoes. These are about the last of the tomatoes, but just make the plate look, you know, a little bit colourful, like that. The orange tomatoes that we had would look nice on here, but they've all been eaten. There's one ripening on the windowsill, but other than that, they've all been eaten. Whoa, I don't want that, but I do want that little piece. I'm running out of space. There we are. Get rid of that. Where is just a dribble of parsley on here? And supper is served. I've got a plate. Let's just put one of these, some chowder in my bowl. Ooh, lovely. Some chowder in my bowl, like that. Make sure the plate is clean. Like that. Put a little bit of parsley in that, seeing as I've got some. Oh, I had some. There we are. A little bit of parsley. And rather than take some off the plate, let's put a couple of these as an accompaniment. And that is it. And thank you very much for watching. 20 bucks. Supper for 20 bucks. We keep on paying. Bye everybody. Thank you very much for watching. Bye Jabor. Stay safe, stay well, and I will see you all next week. Thank you. Bye. They can't pay the rent on the money that you spent. They can't pay